This video is about subjunctive mood, der Konjunktiv II. Subjunctive is used for hypothetical, potential, unlikely, or contrary to the fact statements. Think the coulda, woulda, shouldas. We've been learning indicative, which is an example like ich mache das, I do that. A subjunctive example would be ich würde das nicht machen, I would not do that. Another indicative example is the statement das ist gut, that is good. In subjunctive, we might have something like das wäre nicht gut, that would not be good. Subjunctive is also used for wishes and polite requests. For example, the verb möchte, would like, is the subjunctive of mögen, to like. Ich möchte eine Tasse Kaffee, I would like a cup of coffee. Hätten, would have, is the subjunctive of haben, to have. Hätten Sie jetzt Zeit? Would you have time now? Note, present tense subjunctive can refer to present or future. The most common verb for subjunctive is would. That verb is würde. Endings are the same as endings for the simple past. The endings are nothing, st, nothing, en, t, en. This stem is würde. Würde means would. It's the subjunctive for werden, to become. Pause the video now to use the stem plus the endings to conjugate würde. You should have ich würde, du würdest, sie es würde, wir würden, ihr würdet, sie und sie würden. How do you use this verb? Use a present tense sentence like ich esse Pizza, I eat pizza. If you want to say I would eat pizza, you say ich würde Pizza essen. The other verb gets kicked to the end in the infinitive. Try these. We have du liest Bücher, you read books, and Sam kommt zur Party, Sam comes to the party. Turn these into subjunctive sentences. Pause the video now. You should have du würdest Bücher lesen, you would read books. Sam würde zur Party kommen, Sam would come to the party. The most common verb for subjunctive is would. There are two other very common verbs. One is would be, wäre, and the other is would have, hätte. The endings are the same as the previous slide. Here we have wäre, would be, the subjunctive for sein, to be, and hätte, would have, the subjunctive for haben, to have. The stems are wäre and hätte. Pause the video now to conjugate the verbs using the stem plus the endings. You should have ich wäre, du wärest, sie es wäre, wir wären, ihr wäret, sie und sie wären. Ich hätte, du hättest, sie es hätte, wir hätten, ihr hättet, sie und sie hätten. Use a present tense sentence, ich habe Zeit, I have time. If you want to say I would have time, you say ich hätte Zeit. There is no infinitive at the end for would be or would have. Usually both of these verbs work best in conditional sentences, which we'll discuss soon. Try these two examples on your own. You have hast du Zeit, do you have time, and Hannah ist glücklich, Hannah is happy. Pause the video now. You should have hättest du Zeit, would you have time, and Hannah wäre glücklich, Hannah would be happy. Conditional sentences are made up of two clauses, one which contains wenn. Remember that wenn means both if and when. An example of a conditional sentence would be, if I would have a plane, I would fly to Europe. For example, wenn ich ein Flugzeug hätte, würde ich nach Europa fliegen. You get a verb sandwich in that example because wenn is a subordinating conjunction and located at the beginning of the clauses. See the video about conjunctions subordinating. You can also flip the sentences so that you say, I would fly to Europe if I would have a plane. Ich würde nach Europa fliegen, wenn ich ein Flugzeug hätte. This time the conjunction is in the middle, and the verb in its clause is kicked to the end. Try a few on your own. Here are 2 examples of conditional sentences in English. Pause the video to turn them into German. You should have, wenn ich Zeit hätte, würde ich Hausaufgaben machen. And würde ins Kino gehen, wenn seine Freunde ihn anrufen würden. Modal verbs in the verb WISSEN also have representatives in the subjunctive. Conjugations are the same as each verb's form in the simple past, except that you add Umbaut in most cases. These verbs, plus sein and haben in their subjunctive forms, are the verbs that are not used with the würde plus infinitive at the end construction. We start with dürfen. Dürfen in the simple past is dürfte. In the subjunctive, it's dürfte, would be allowed or permitted to. Können in the simple past is konnte. In the subjunctive is könnte, and it means would be able to. Mögen in the simple past is mochte. In the subjunctive is möchte, and means would like to. Müssen in the infinitive in the simple past is musste, and in the subjunctive is müsste, which means would have to. Sollen in the simple past is sollte, which stays the same in the subjunctive as sollte and means would be supposed to. Wollen in the simple past is wollte and stays the same in the subjunctive as wollte and means would want to. Wissen in the simple past is wusste and in the subjunctive is wüsste, which means would know. You may sometimes encounter additional verbs in the subjunctive. Those verbs should also be their simple past form plus umlaut. You should use the more common würde plus infinitive construction. This form for verbs other than sein, haben, and the verbs here is not a commonly used form. Subjunctive in the past tense is created with the formula helping verb plus past participle. The helping verbs are either hätte for when the helping verb would have been haben, or wäre for when the helping verb would have been sein. The past participle is the past participle of the main verb. This tense is used to express wishes, contrary to the fact, conditions, and hypothetical statements in the past. Some good examples of how to use subjunctive in the past include those with the clause, if I would have known that, wenn ich das gewusst hätte. Answers could include, since that could be anything you were previously discussing. Wäre ich länger geblieben, I would have stayed longer. Wäre ich nicht gegangen, I would not have gone. Hätte ich liebe dich gesagt, I would have said I love you. People might ask you questions about the past in a hypothetical way, like, what would you have done if? Was hättest du gemacht, wenn? Answers could include anything at all, really. Du die Lotterie gewonnen hättest. You had won the lottery. Du mehr Zeit fürs Lernen genutzt hättest. You had used more time for studying. These are all just examples. Here are more examples. Turn these sentences into the subjunctive. Pause the video now. For number 1, you should have Du möchtest Cola trinken. You would like to drink Coke. Number 2. Wenn ich mehr Freizeit hätte, würde ich das Buch lesen. If I would have more free time, I would read the book. For number 3. Würde früher fahren. He would drive earlier. Wenn ich mehr Geld hätte, würde ich dort wohnen. If I would have more money, I would live there. Heidi wäre müde, wenn sie lange lernen würde. Heidi would be tired if she would study a long time. Du dürftest Schokolade essen. You may be allowed to eat chocolate. Remember, almost all of these would be better or make more sense as if statements.